Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Robert Schmid, also known as Mr.IoT. I'm the Chief IoT Technologist for Deloitte with a deep passion for all things digital. This week on Coffee with Miss Connected and Mr.IoT, Kelsey and I are talking with a bunch of our people that were all instrumental in making LiveWorx happen. LiveWorx, in my mind, is my favorite. Well, that's my mind. It's my favorite industrial IoT conference of the year, and we just completed it. So with that, I just want to quickly say thank you guys for all joining. And Chris, you seem to be the busiest of all of us, but you also were the master of ceremony of LiveWorx. I want to start with you. You actually took the time out of your day off today. You so took some time off on Friday, and you're going to play golf after this. So thank you for joining. For the ones who don't know, Chris is our Alliance Manager with Deloitte with PTC. And Chris, give me your high and lows of LiveWorx this year.
Well, thank you, Robert. High and low, huh? Well, I think from a high standpoint, if I had to, maybe I'm going to have to give you two real quick because I couldn't decide. I think my number one high is watching the team from Deloitte all come together and be at the booth and interact with our clients and our prospective customers and all the PTC team, and really just watch that camaraderie and the integration of our team and everyone, being so excited about LiveWorx. And then the second high would be pulling off the Duck Factory. And I'm sure we'll talk. But end of day Friday of last week, it was, I was feeling a little nervous, as probably you were, Robert, but we pulled it off, and I think it was awesome. And then low, I think this low is kind of a funny one because I really don't have one, but I feel like, I've done this show for the past 2 years, and if I'm the MC or whatever you want to call it, like I have to arrange several meetings, and this place is so huge, the convention center, that I really feel like I'm just running around the entire time, and I don't unfortunately get much time to really absorb what's out on the floor and experience the demos. I mean, I got a little bit of time, but I wish I would have had more time to walk around and check out the X Factory and stuff like that.
That's great. So just for those folks that are listening in, what is the Duck Factory? Can you tell us a little bit more about what this is and why it was a high?
Well, hey, no issues. Yes, I can. So the Duck Factory, it was an idea that was, born by Mr. Schmid here, and we created an augmented reality experience using Vuforia technology that is representative of a full manufacturing line that is producing, as it turns out, rubber ducks. So we called it the Duck Factory. You can download it on the iOS store or Android store under Virtual Factory by Deloitte, and you get to it's a fun interactive thing where you get to click through 4 personas in a manufacturing line and, and whatnot. And it's really just this kind of cool, interactive experience that really tells a nice story about the work that we do at our clients.
That's fantastic. So Haylee, I would love to hear from you as well. What was your high at LiveWorx this year, and maybe something that, you wish you would have seen or that you're hoping to see that you didn't experience this year?
Yeah, this was my first LiveWorx, and so seeing I think the keynote at the beginning really struck it off. It was really awesome to see CEO PTC come out, and like the acrobatics and just the production quality of it was amazing. So that was really cool from a personal level. But I think I think being able to interact with people at the booth was my other high. It's cool to see, it's 6,000 people, so being able to see people from all different levels of maturity in IoT. So you've got people that have never heard of the term and are learning it for the first time there, and then you've got other people who have done it and are now looking to implement AR at their factories and things like that. And so being able to work and understand and then actively problem solve with people at the booth was really cool. And so that was fun to actively hear their use cases and how they're trying to use IoT, and then work through, what we're doing and how we, how we would approach that problem and things like that, which is cool. And then the only low I can think of was that my voice was at the end of it was struggling. I was downing cough drops by Wednesday, which doesn't happen often to me. I'm a fairly loud, talkative individual, and so losing my voice or having troubles with my voice is not typical. So that tells you how much action we had at the booth. It was awesome. We talked to a lot of people. So.
Well, I'm glad you're back to speaking. Thank you for everything you did. I know you were there to set up, and then you actually stayed to take it down too. So you were really there the whole time, which is amazing. Thank you for everything. You and I worked together on the project too, so I get to see you, which is great. I actually wanted to ask you, you said one of your highs was the conversations you had at the booth, which I always find that interesting too. But my question to you is, tell us about one conversation that really struck you as particularly interesting or particularly unique. And it doesn't have to be particularly unique, it's just something that was unique to you.
I'm trying to think of the best, like the best conversations. Honestly, so we rolled out, anyone who hasn't seen the duck factory thing should, I don't know if we have video of that, but you need to post it, Robert, if you haven't. But we need to make sure, but it was cool because we put that out in the front of the booth. And so people came up and we're trying to figure out what on earth you see this like kind of huge blueprint on the ground is. And so that probably some of the best conversations was like people who I had talked to earlier in the day had never heard of IoT and like didn't know like how to use it, or like didn't know like, I don't know, AR, and they were there for like all the CAD pieces of PTC. And then at the end of it, we're like actively like finding the ducks in the factory, and one of them ended up finding the Easter egg, which was awesome. And so it was just a guy who, they were using CAD modeling with PTC. And so had very little exposure to like AR, VR. And then at the end of it, he was like using it and interacting with it. And it just makes the technology so real and personal. And you could tell like all of a sudden his eyes really open on how a blueprint can come to life within just a few seconds. So that was pretty awesome. And that was fun to like help people learn and discover that. So that was probably one of my biggest highlights.
Saw that. It was really so Chris talked about the app. It's called Virtual Factory by Deloitte, and you can download it. But the thing that was cool is what you might have a harder time doing is we printed a 42-foot long carpet. It was basically a panel that laid on the floor on stage. And so what that did is it brought the duck factory, the Internet of Rubber Ducks, to a full-scale production line. It was literally 42 feet long and 6 feet high. And if you go on Twitter, you'll find some photos of us standing next to it and so forth, or it looks like we're standing next to it. But in any case, that's the 42-foot carpet you talked about and that we laid out. It was pretty funny to see, right? Because first of all, I have to say, you guys are awesome, because what ended up happening is I said, well, let's roll it out. And people were like, well, I don't know, really, we can't do this. And I just said, Andrew, come on, let's roll it out. So we rolled it out one day after the show, and we just taped it down, and it was just really a draw for people. People ended up coming to the booth and just walking around, and as you said, walked inside the machine, because since it's virtual, you can. And there were little Easter eggs in there. So please look for them. Please download it. There is actually the marker inside the app, so you can email it to yourself and print it, and you can actually walk into the factory yourself. So thank you, Haylee. That's awesome. Andrew. Andrew, you and I work together on another project. Actually, you work at the true factory line this is modeled after. So you and I sat there, you, Chaz, a bunch of us sat there, and we talked about the concept of this Internet of Rubber Ducks. And by the way, I have to say, you guys cracked me up, particularly Chris, right? When we talked about making rubber ducks, there was a little bit of hesitation at first, but I think at the end it worked out good. It kind of made it a little fun. I always believe combining fun with work gives it more power. But in any case, Andrew, I'm curious, what were your high and lows? And, you were so engaged with us throughout the creation of this. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I guess I'll start with my highs and lows. I think I have one real cool high and then a couple lows. Not a reflection on us at all, but my high would be.
Go for it, man. This isn't censored. I know you. You're gonna give us a good one.
Well, my highs would have to be being given the opportunity to actually speak about a client that I worked on, Texmark, which Deloitte kind of turned into this marketing opportunity. I think that was really awesome. I've never really been able to give a speech like that before at any kind of conference. But the lows, I would have to say the food. The food was pretty terrible. I was really hoping for some better food. And then I guess the other low would be on the Easter egg, my name was misspelled, which, I mean, it's okay, but maybe on the next update we throw an N in my last name.
Same here, Andrew. They forgot the H in Albrecht.
There we go. We got 2 updates. But yeah, so I guess overall pretty great high and pretty minor lows. the experience in actually making this app come to life was awesome. It was really fun to actually, you know, get some of my ideas incorporated into the app, and, you know, be able to tweak it along the line to make sure that it matched, you know, the vision of what the app was supposed to do, and then also match reality and what we're actually doing for this client, where they produce our rubber ducks. So I think that was really cool.
So Andrew, you know, I have a couple questions for you. So what food did you wish they had or were expecting them to have that they didn't have? And then I'll ask you a follow-up one after that.
I just, no, there's only one meal that really stuck out in my mind. It was lunch, and it was supposed to be chicken teriyaki, and it was kind of just chicken and white rice, and that was it. No teriyaki.
Teriyaki, no vegetables, no spices?
No, it was chicken and white rice.
That's funny. So maybe you can help out with that next year and expand a little bit. So the question to you about your experience, I hope you had a little bit of a chance to get outside of the duck factory and have a bit more of an experience with the show itself. Any other experiences, technologies that were interesting to you, that you thought really connected well with either something you're personally passionate about or some of the work you're doing right now?
I mean, this is kind of just touching on my nerdy side, but in my experiences in school, you know, I went to school for engineering, and so simulations were a big part of going to school there. We did a lot with that. And so during the keynote and then later, they kept talking about how they integrated simulations, real-time simulations with their Creo product. So doing CAD simulations in real time. And that just was mind-blowing to me because that was something that I struggled with during school, for sure. So that was probably the coolest technology that I saw there.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Ditto to that. I spent many an hour doing CAD modeling my freshman year of engineering, and it's the worst. So I was like, dang, this is awesome. You can be able to, it was awesome. So it's going to change the lives. Back in my day, we had to do our CAD modeling by hand. No way.
Way back when Haylee went to school, way back when.
Right. All 6 years ago.
Yeah. So Lindsey, we haven't heard from you yet. Interested to, I think you had a slightly different experience than some of the folks that we've heard from. So interested to hear from you, really, what piqued your attention personally, professionally, and then, you know, hopefully there's not another food complaint, but if there's another low, we'd love to hear that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So there were a lot of highs. I was very fortunate to be asked to join Robert on stage for our keynote address on Tuesday. And it was great. It was really well received. I was very excited I didn't fall off the stage because it was a little bit of a shaky situation with the big X that it was formatted in. But I did stay on the mat itself, and was able to provide hopefully a little bit of context around the work we do with some of our clients. So of course, on the main stage like that, we're running a demo. It was about rubber ducks, but I typically deal with aerospace and defense and automotive and industrials. So what types of products could really be running on that line, and what kind of savings might we actually see? So it was great to be able to participate. And then the questions I received after from a lot of my clients were just really insightful and spot on. So the ability to connect like that, where we were able to not only share how much we, you know, work with PTC and some of the relationships we have, but also then what we can collaboratively do with our clients is really exciting. For a low, I would say that we had, there's just a lot of tracks. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's the floor, and then there's about, you know, I think 12 different studies or different tracks that people can participate in. So it's just really hard to pick one and find, or you want to be in multiple classes, you can only be in one, or you want to find somebody and they're lost in somewhere in the convention center. So in that way, it's a little bit hard to navigate, but it was a great experience overall.
By the way, if you're just joining us, I'm Robert Schmid, the Chief IoT Technologist for Deloitte, and you're watching Coffee with Misconnected and Mr.IoT. Today, Kelsey and my guests are Andrew, Chris, Haylee, and Lindsey, and we're all doing a look back at LiveWorx, the show that just completed in Boston. So, but Lindsey, I gotta can I out you for a second here? How you just got tumbled into this? I mean, I just really pushed you into this. Literally, I asked you the day before if you do one question. Then on the same day, I asked you if you would do 2 questions. And then after that, I said, hey, how about if you stay on between the 2 questions and do the keynote with me? I gotta say you did amazing. I have to say, I didn't even see you swallow. But I mean, really, what were you thinking when I told you the day off, 2 hours before, can you be on the keynote with me? You didn't tell me, and I didn't ask you because maybe I didn't want to know. But I want to know now.
Mostly game on, and a little bit of, oh my gosh, really? I love that stuff. I've been working with PTC for a long time. The different use cases that we've been able to turn on and all of the conversations I've had with my clients to date just shows the passion behind this type of work. And to be able to do that on a big stage and connect and maybe enlighten some others that hadn't seen that type of application before was really exciting. So I'm never one to shy away from the spotlight and things like that. And to be able to do it with a tool that was, so awesome. I think afterwards, one of the leads from PTC came up and shook our hands and just said that it was everything that they expected and more. It was what they wanted to be able to put on the stage. So that's just really exciting. And I was happy to do it.
Well, I have to tell you, I think you made the keynote a better keynote, and for everybody else. And on a personal note, you made it great for me. I felt so supported by you, and I really appreciated that. So thank you very much. And thank you to everybody on this call, right? I mean, Andrew, Chris, Haylee, you did an awesome job. I thought maybe, I don't know if this is of interest, but I'll give you my high and my low. I have to say my low must have definitely been the prep in the morning when we did the dry run, and I have to say it was not quite flowing yet. We had to stop and go, and it was tough. And my high was definitely, I have to say my high was actually your email, Lindsey, when you said that someone came up to you and said they would have liked their keynote to be like this. And so they thought they liked our keynote so much that they might want to do something like this. So I walked afterwards off the stage, and I think the guy I had on stage with me before, Carlson, we had him on the show last week, and I almost got teary because there was such a relief about finishing what we had started 8-10 weeks before that, and so that was pretty emotional. So that was awesome. Kelsey, what do you think? What's your takeaway from all you've heard here?
Well, the biggest takeaway for me is, like, why didn't I go? And I should have been there. So clearly, I have to mark my calendar for next year and make sure I'm a part of it, because so much of this is really connected, not only to what we do, but really to so many personal passions of ours. And Lindsey, even just thinking about what you said, like how many tracks, how do you even decide what to do or what to experience at shows like this? So that's one of my comments, and just to be a part of it next year would be great.
You're welcome. Chris, did you take notes?
Noted.
Have you moved on the golf course, Chris?
What's that?
Looks like have you moved to another hole on the golf course there?
No, I'm sitting here by the putting green, though. My group's here, and they're kind of looking at what I'm doing. So we'll tee off here in about 10 minutes.
So I'm just going to open up the floor here for comments that aren't really tied to high-low. By the way, in case anybody's wondering, this is actually out of a movie where family does high-low at the dinner table, and I kind of adopted this over 10 years ago. It's kind of, I like it. But in any case, Andrew, Chris, Haylee, Lindsey, anything you want to talk about LifeWorks that we haven't talked about yet?
Robert, I have one, and then I'm going to have to jump. From an owl to a duck factory to what's next?
Yeah, I thought of that. I have no idea. We had people come up and say we want socks because they knew we had socks last year's. We'll see. I don't know.
I bet you'll come up with something, Robert.
I will think about it next week, not this week.
Maybe give us more than 8 weeks.
You want more than 8 weeks, Andrew?
Maybe 9. Like, I could work with 9, I think.
All right, I got a job. See everyone.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
Where you guys all went back to? Andrew, let's walk around. Where did you go back to after the show, Andrew?
So I'm actually back in my apartment outside on my balcony, working on my current client, because we're kind of in crunch time. So yeah, as soon as this is done, I'm back to it.
Haylee?
Yeah, I'm back in Texas. I'm not in my home city of Dallas. Houston, surviving the humidity here. So I'm family's home. So it's nice to get to see them, and it was a good refresher after the conference to get to see them. So I'm excited about that. So, but yeah, still doing crunching away on client work. That was another kind of low, was having to leave the conference to go do client work. So you kind of want to devote all your time there, but it's okay. It's good.
I know breakdown is a hard one. It's kind of a sad moment. Lindsey, where did you go back to?
I'm in Philadelphia right now, but I had to actually leave the conference a bit early to go back to a number of different clients that are all dealing with very similar issues, and we're working projects that are right along the same page. So it was fun to have the shiny veneer of a conference, and then had to grit back in as the second I got back into what real life looks like. But this is work that we do at the shiny conferences, as well as with all over the country. So it was exciting to kind of re-tie back to my big accounts and what they're doing specifically in this space.
Kelsey, close out the show. It's all you.
All right. So just a lighter question maybe for the three of you too, and Robert, you as well. So a lot of times when we go to conferences, we typically get some swag. Was there any cool IoT swag that you all got at the conference or loved in particular? And Andrew, let's start with you.
I gotta say that the best swag I got was actually our own. It was our duck socks, and I heard that basically from anybody who came up and took a pair. So they're very popular.
Haylee?
Yeah, agreed. I definitely swiped some socks. I did it before we even put them out on the floor. But we did we should put out a PSA next time that we put out soaps that look like chocolate, because we had multiple people come up and actually say they licked it, and it was not actually chocolate. So they discovered. So next time we'll put out a better sign. But our was definitely the cutest, and also we had the best socks, because I heard other people had socks too. But ours were better than theirs. They were better designed. They had rubber ducks all over them. They're really awesome.
Is anyone wearing them? Can we get a visual of these socks? Does anyone have them on today?
In the washing machine.
Stem hair.
Lindsey, how about you? And did you have time to grab anything cool outside of our booth?
I was thinking I totally failed at that swag game. I did not pick up anything. I saw some decent stuff. I agree that the Deloitte booth had quite a good showing in that category, in that department, but I didn't get anything that fancy.
Robert?
The magnets are cool.
So that's good.
So
Superman
I'm gonna
Ant-Man's presentation, which was cool. So that was another one.
I was gonna say that there was PTC put on what they call the X Factory, and for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's an amazing demo of a full-fledged Industry 4.0 manufacturing floor. It had everything from starting CAD all the way to warehousing, and they truly built the product there. And the product they built was a box. And it had a Raspberry Pi in it, but really was a sensor that you can stick on a machine that measures vibration and a variety of different things. It's obviously too big of a box for regular machines, but as swag goes and as function goes, that was definitely the highest quality swag. Only outdone by the cuteness of our socks, obviously, but other than that, it was really good, and it was just so illustrative for what you can do. It had a 3D printed box, it had electronics in it, it had sensors, it had magnets, and it got automatically assembled. So wow, quite an amazing thing. I did a bit of periscoping on it. So if you go on the Twitter channel, you'll find some video walkthrough from this, but definitely the X Factory product was second in line.
That's awesome. Well, thanks everybody so much for joining us today. And Robert, any closing comments from you?
No, I'm just going to say if you missed any part of the show or want to watch any of the old shows, come to our YouTube channel. They are all there. And with that, I want to wish everybody a happy Friday. Thank you for joining, guys and girls, or as we say now, you all. And thank you so much. Happy Friday. Bye.
Friday. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.